Hello, this is Tikva from Aliyah Lift Shipping. We have a short, concise video containing all of the essential points of the shipping process. Enjoy this, and if you have questions, you know where to find us. Olim helping Olim since 2009. Aliyah Lift Shipping.
So let's start with a legal disclaimer. Due to the complexities of international shipping, the information provided is purely informational and designed to be helpful without being confusing. Additionally, I may forget to mention or simply omit circumstances or situations to keep this presentation focused. Our shipping proposal is a definitive and legal document. Please read it. Here we have Annie Ola. That's what we'll call her, Annie Ola. Annie Ola is making Aliyah this year, and she is pretty overwhelmed with everything that's involved. She wants to know, what should she ship? When should she schedule her pickup? Is it worth shipping? And should she buy things here or buy things there? Well, we're going to help Annie Ola out by explaining her how it works. International shipping is based on accepted industry practices and procedures. Like, for example, a full service shipment includes all the packing supplies and materials and full packing services. This would apply to agents all over the world. It also includes reasonable moving scenarios. Situations such as close parking, not to have an excessive amount of stairs, general home cleanliness, a normal weight of goods, normal access, and we provide the assembly of 2 beds and a table. Situations that are above and beyond normal, where a shuttle is required or parking is difficult and the goods have to be carried a long distance, or maybe an outside elevator because things don't fit inside an elevator in the building, or extra heavy items like a piano. Situations like that are above and beyond normal, and there's an extra charge involved with those services. A typical Aliyah shipment is door-to-door, includes full packing services, and residential delivery in Israel. That means we put the items in the rooms of your choice. Annie Ola says, that's great. How does it work? And how much does it cost? The cost of shipping to Israel is based on 2 factors: location and volume. Most shipments are handled by our Aliyah-based shipping agents. There are 4 of them, 3 in the US and 1 in Canada. These agents are Jewish-owned and understand the needs of Olim very well. They've been doing it for years and do an excellent job. For moves outside of the 4 hubs, we work with top-tier moving agents that are affiliated with Atlas Van Lines or United Van Lines. These are companies that are well established. They've been in business for decades and sometimes even over 100 years. They provide excellent service and are a pleasure to work with. Now that we understand the location better, we can start to learn about the shipping process. In a partial shipment, it's really a mirror process. It starts with the home, where everything is picked up. Those goods are taken to a warehouse and held there until we're able to collect enough freight to fill up a 40-foot container. It's called a consolidation, until we can consolidate a container. Once a container is consolidated, it's taken to the port and a few days later loaded onto a vessel heading to Israel. After the vessel arrives in Israel, the container is unloaded from the vessel and the contents are removed from the container and stored at the port's bonded warehouse until delivery to your home. Container shipments are similar in that the packing takes place in the home. However, we're not always able to bring a container to the residence for loading. Sometimes, due to circumstances beyond our control, goods need to be taken to the agent's warehouse and then loaded later when a container is available. That container will be taken to the port and loaded onto a vessel. Once the vessel arrives in Israel, it is unloaded and kept at the port until delivered to your home. Aniola says, that makes sense. Tell me more. With the packing and pickup, the crew will come to your residence with all the boxes and supplies to do an amazing job. They'll pack and wrap whatever you specify. It's important to do a walkthrough with the crew chief before they leave. Your goods will be loaded into a cube van and taken back to the warehouse, stacked on pallets and shrink wrapped and measured. The outside dimensions of the pallets is known as the gross volume, and that's what you'll be charged on. Again, if you don't live near one of the 4 Aliyah-based shipping hubs, we will use a local agent, a top-tier local agent, to handle your packing and pickup. Your goods will be loaded into crates and taken by truck to one of the 4 hubs. The shipping process continues with the container loading. Once again, this is called the consolidation. Multiple shipments are loaded into a 40-foot container and shipped to Israel. Currently, shipments tend to be delayed from a few days to a few weeks. Please understand that these delays are completely out of our control. Once the container arrives in Israel, the contents are unloaded into the port's bonded warehouse until delivered. You're entitled to 30 days of free storage at the port's bonded warehouse. Once your file clears customs, the delivery will be made to your residence and the goods will be put in the rooms of your choice. A standard delivery in Israel includes a delivery up to 80 kilometers from the port of Ashdod for a partial shipment, and for a container shipment up to 80 kilometers from the port of Ashdod or Haifa. For deliveries beyond the 80 kilometer mark, there's an extra charge. Standard delivery services include putting the items in the rooms of your choice, unwrapping large pieces of furniture, and assembling 2 beds and 1 table, and the removal of debris at the time of the delivery. The inquisitive Aniola says, what are my shipping options? There are 2 different types of shipments. There's a partial shipment and a container shipment. Once again, a partial shipment is also called a consolidated shipment. These are shipments that get grouped into a large 40-foot container and shipped to Israel. Typically, the minimum size shipment of a partial shipment is 200 cubic feet. This is sufficient for a single person or a young couple shipping the basics: clothes, kitchenware, linens, pictures, books, things like that. Typically 200 cubic feet should be sufficient. Sometimes it's more and sometimes it's a little bit less, but on the average 200 cubic feet seems to be fine. However, if someone wants to ship the basics plus some furniture, then that will also increase the volume from, let's say, 200 cubic feet and up. A family of, let's say, 5 people will have their basics will be closer to 300 to 400 cubic feet due to the higher volume of clothes, higher volume of just standard things that one has in the house. A more mature family just seems to have more stuff. Container shipments. A 20-foot container is typically sufficient for a 2 to 3 bedroom home, and a 40-foot container is sufficient for a 3 to 5 bedroom home. There's also a 40-foot HC, which means high cube, which allows an extra 400 cubic feet. That's for those people who have just got that little bit more in life. So once again, you see the basics with furniture, and the whole house. Shipping volume. The volume is determined by the length times the width times the height, and it's measured in cubic feet. Again, family basics is around 200 cubic feet plus or minus. Another way to understand 200 cubic feet is the area that's 4 feet wide, 7 feet long, and 7 feet tall. That's just under 200 cubic feet. Another way to understand 200 cubic feet is 55 medium boxes. A medium box is approximately 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. That would be about 55 of those. Boxes that we use come in different sizes, relatively industry standard sizes. A small box or a book box is about 1.5 cubic feet. A dish pack box, which is a double-walled box, extra thick for fragile items, is 5 cubic feet. And a wardrobe box for clothes that are going on hangers, those are typically around 12 cubic feet. Sometimes there's a little bit more, depending upon the manufacturer. Aniola says, well, that's great, but accidents happen. What happens if something gets broken? We provide 2 types of marine insurance. One is total loss, and the other is all risk. Total loss insurance covers the extenuating circumstances where the vessel capsizes, or the container falls in the ocean, or the container falls off the train, or something similar to that. I have this written up, and it's available on the website at aliyahlift.com/INS. You could read the specifications there. All risk covers total loss insurance, plus it includes damages. Some more specifics on total loss insurance. There are about 3,000 or so containers that fall in the ocean every year out of 20 million. So the likelihood of them falling in the ocean is pretty small. One should insure your goods at replacement value in Israel. That might be kind of hard to calculate if you're not living in Israel already. And even if you are living in Israel, it still might be hard to calculate. So do your best to determine what value works for you. The cost of the insurance is 1.5% of the value that you insure your goods at. There's no deductible. Another way of saying it is for every $1,000 of insurance, it costs $15. The coverage period is while the vessel is moving from one port at the origin to the destination port. Some more specifics on all risk. Once again, this covers the total loss insurance, plus it covers damages. Again, you should insure your goods for the replacement value in Israel. The cost is 3% of the value that you insure your goods at with a $250 deductible. That means it's $30 for every $1,000 worth of insurance. The coverage period is from the date of the policy, from that date where it's issued, to 30 days after delivery. More specifically, you get 30 days from the date of the policy until the sailing date, until it actually leaves the port. Then the port-to-port transit time, that's included, and then the 30 days at the port's bonded warehouse in Israel, and then 30 days after delivery to file a claim. Just some helpful notes about insurance. Typical damages are thin and fragile items, things like mirrors or pictures, glass and frames, things like that. Antiques, because they're old, they can be broken. And strangely enough, bicycles, sometimes the pedals don't fare well. So I advise if you're shipping a bike, take the pedals off. Additionally, insurance charges are added to our invoice. You will not be billed for the insurance by the insurance company. Also, insurance extensions are necessary to keep the policy valid for times that the shipment is in storage beyond 30 days. Aniola is loving this information. She's ready to go forward, and she wants to know, how do I time my shipment? There are 3 aspects to be conscious of while timing your shipment. 1, scheduling your pickup. 2, the transit time. That's going from point A to point B. And 3, from port to delivery. You should schedule your pickup 4 to 6 weeks in advance. If you have a partial shipment, you should assume 2 to 6 weeks from the pickup day until the container is loaded. If you have a container shipment, typically the container is loaded the same day and returned to the port, or if you're inland, return to the rail yard. The sailing transit time is approximately 35 to 60 days. Once your shipment is in Israel, the time it takes to get a partial shipment is about 2 weeks. And if you have a container, the delivery is about 1 week after it arrives.